In 1964, a 17-year-old teenager from San Diego named Randy Gardner decided to break the world record for staying awake continuously. Not for science. He wanted his name in the Guinness Book of World Records. The first day was normal. By the third day, he had begun talking to himself. By the seventh day, he could no longer recognize the faces of his family members. And on the 11th day, when researcher William Dement stood in front of him, holding an electronic display just 30 centimeters away, and asked which numbers were lighting up, Randy Gardner replied, "I don't see any numbers at all." He had gone 264 hours without sleep. The record was officially confirmed. And what happened to his brain during those 11 days took another 50 years of scientific research to begin fully understanding. You probably think the brain needs sleep to rest. It works continuously all day, and at night it has to shut down to recover. That's how most people picture sleep, and it's completely wrong, Dr. Matthew Walker at the University of California, Berkeley, who has spent more than 20 years studying sleep and published the book Why We Sleep in 2017, measured brain activity during different stages of sleep. The result: during REM sleep, the brain is just as active as it is when you're awake. Some regions are even more active. The brain does not rest while you sleep. It switches to a different job, one that it cannot do while you're awake. Randy Gardner wasn't trying to destroy his brain. He just wanted a line in the record book. But what happened to him during those 264 hours is an extreme version of what happens, on a smaller scale, to millions of people every single night. When you don't get enough sleep, your immune system is the first thing to break down. Walker and his team studied 153 people over 2 weeks, measuring the amount of virus they were exposed to and tracking who became sick. People who slept fewer than 6 hours a night were 4.2 times more likely to get sick than those who slept at least 7 hours, not 20% more likely. 4.2 times more likely. Another study by Walker in 2017 found that just one night of sleeping fewer than 6 hours reduced the activity of NK cells, the immune system's cancer-fighting cells, by 70%. 70%. After just one night. You're probably thinking, then getting enough sleep is enough. 7 hours every night. You already know what you need to do. End of story. Not yet, because the problem isn't just how long you sleep. It's how well you sleep, and the quality of sleep for billions of people is being destroyed by something that most people don't even realize is dangerous. In 1981, physiologist Charles Geisler at Harvard University discovered that the human brain doesn't use a clock to know when it's time to sleep. It uses light, specifically blue light, at a wavelength of 480 nanometers, to reset the body's biological clock every day. When blue light enters your eyes, the brain interprets it as daytime and suppresses the production of melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. When blue light disappears, melatonin levels rise and the brain prepares for sleep. This system worked perfectly for millions of years of evolution, because the sun was the only source of blue light. The sun set, blue light disappeared, melatonin increased, and humans became sleepy. Simple and reliable. Then screens arrived. Phones, tablets, laptops, they all emit enough blue light for the brain to recognize it as daytime. Geisler measured the blue light intensity from an iPad at normal brightness and found that it was powerful enough to suppress melatonin by up to 23% after just 2 hours of use. When you're scrolling on your phone at 11 p.m., your brain doesn't know it's 11 p.m. It only receives the blue light signal and concludes, it's still daytime, there's no need to sleep yet. Melatonin is suppressed. Your biological clock is pushed back by as much as 3 hours from its natural cycle. You lie down, but your brain is not truly prepared for deep sleep. From Randy Gardner alone in a laboratory, to millions of students staying up late to study, to office workers sleeping only 5 hours because of deadlines, to an entire modern society operating under chronic sleep deprivation without anyone treating it as a serious problem. The human brain evolved over millions of years with the natural cycle of light and darkness, sleeping when it was dark, waking when it was light, with no exceptions. Within just 100 years, electricity and screens completely disrupted that cycle, and the human brain has not had time to adapt. No mutation has evolved to let the brain tolerate blue light at midnight. No evolutionary mechanism has compensated for sleeping 5 hours instead of 8, what you consider normal. Staying awake until midnight, getting up at 6, drinking coffee to keep going. is something your brain was never designed to endure. Tonight, before you go to sleep, you'll probably scroll through your phone. Not because you want to, because it's a habit you've built over years, and your brain has linked lying down with picking up your phone. Your brain receives blue light, suppresses melatonin, and delays deep sleep by several hours. You think you've slept enough because you closed your eyes and opened them again the next morning. But the glymphatic system, the brain's cleaning system, only works during deep sleep, the very stage of sleep that has been shortened without you even realizing it. This is what Walker calls the most important discovery in the history of sleep research. While you're in deep sleep, the brain activates a system known as the glymphatic system, the brain's cleaning system. Cerebrospinal fluid flows through the spaces between nerve cells, flushing away the waste products that have accumulated throughout the day, especially a protein called amyloid beta. Amyloid beta is the substance that builds up into plaques in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, and it is only cleared away during deep sleep. Walker's research team used PET scans to track amyloid beta levels in the brains of volunteers after one night without sleep, just one night, and found a significant increase concentrated in two brain regions associated with Alzheimer's disease, the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. When you don't get enough sleep, or your sleep isn't deep enough, amyloid beta accumulates. Not a lot each night, but a little every night, a little every year, a little every decade. Every night of insufficient sleep is another night your brain cannot clear away what it needs to remove. The consequences don't appear the next day. They appear 20 or 30 years later. You can't completely change your sleep habits tonight. But there is one thing you can do tonight, right now, that research shows has a measurable impact on sleep quality. Put your phone down 30 minutes before going to bed. Not because some meditation app tells you to, because your brain needs 30 minutes without blue light for melatonin to rise enough to trigger deep sleep. Or don't. Keep scrolling through your phone like you do every night. That's your choice. But now you know it isn't a harmless habit. It's a decision you make every night about the condition of your brain 20 years from now.